Hello, I Nice. Hello, I am Jen Wilson, the Healing Rebel, and welcome to this session. I'm going to start the session with a couple of pieces of information that are really important. I want you to always listen to your body. If I'm inviting you to do something that doesn't feel right, then stop doing it. Message me, get in touch with me, ask questions. I will give options and adaptations for each exercise. Those adaptations might not be suitable for you, so always do reach out if you're not sure, and I can adapt them again for you. I will do a few repetitions of each exercise. If you feel like you want to do more and you can do more, pause the video at any time and do some more. If you are thinking, oh, I can't do any more of this, then you stop doing that exercise. Don't keep going just because I'm doing a few more repetitions. You don't have to do the exact same number on each side. I'm very consistent at forgetting to count for you, so don't worry about counting. Listen to what your body's telling you and rest when you need to, do more when you want to. I will give some options that you can do things seated or standing. You decide on that particular day what is going to be more beneficial to you. It's not that it's more advanced to do it in one position than it is in the other. It's just about where are you today. Start where you are and be where you are on each day as we go. I won't be playing any music during this session, but I would encourage you, if music helps, have whatever kind of music you like to have on in the background. So if you've got any questions, jen@iamjenwilson.com. If you contact me in any other way, whether that's been through text message, through one of the social media channels, or through the comments in the videos, please make sure that you reach out to me in whatever way that you're used to and ask your questions, and I will get back to them as soon as I can. So let's get on with today's session. I'm going to start standing up. You can be seated if you're just going to move the chair off to the side. So I'm going to bring it in to help with balance at a few points through the session. Just going to move my trip hazards out of the way. Right, so we're going to have our feet, when you're working on balance, I want you to have your feet at a position that you can feel grounded and supported through the floor. I would suggest hip width or slightly wider. It can be really common for people to have their feet really close together because habit has created that, but we want to strengthen the muscle memory into a wider base of support. If you think about a pyramid, nothing's knocking that pyramid over because it's got a wide base of support. So we want to have those strong foundations for us. We also want to have a really good connection to the floor. So finding the weight through the heels, through the balls of the feet, and noticing, do you have a tendency to stand more into one foot than you do the other? And if you do, can you bring that into the centre? Now, if you've got pain somewhere in your body, it might be that you need to keep moving away from that from time to time. And what your practice might be is just coming away and then bringing it into centre and holding here for a couple of breaths and then letting it move away and coming in to hold it for a couple of breaths. That might be where your practice is for starting off to improve your balance. We want to get both legs as active and as strong as possible. And depending on what your health condition is, if you get MS, Parkinson, something like that, that can really, messages can get blocked to one side of the body more than they do the other. And the more we can practice bringing things in to get both sides more responsive, more active, the brain is sending messages through the nervous system to the muscles. The more we can practice sending those signals down, the stronger the signals get. So we are finding a nice strong balance. Now I want you to think about your posture and your alignment. Ear, shoulder, hip, knee, ankle stacked. The ribs tucked in, the pelvis in a neutral position. So neutral is tailbone is kind of pointing down towards the floor. Your hip bones, pubic bone are in line with each other. So we're not sticking the butt out here. We're not driving the pubic bone forward. We're somewhere in the middle. The shoulders down away from the ears. When we're holding pain, discomfort, tension in our body, very often the shoulders can be up here and we don't realise. So think about letting the shoulders drop, and then take another couple of breaths. And then can you let the shoulders just drop a little bit more? Can you maybe think about the shoulder blades tucking into your back pockets while keeping the ribs stacked? So what we want to, another common thing that we want to try and avoid is dropping the shoulders back but pushing the ribs forward. I'm exaggerating this for the purposes of the video, but this is really common to see. So can we stand tall, shoulders down, but ribs staying tucked in, long through the neck. Now we're going to take our weight into one foot and then into the other, intentionally. Find the connection to the floor. So on the soles of your feet, you have what I refer to as tripod points. That's the pads at the base of the heel, the pads at the ball of the foot at the base of the big toe, and the pad on the ball of the foot at the base of the little toe. So can you find those 3 points on each foot? And this, again, might be your practice for a little while. Bring the weight into the centre. Let's go into a couple of shoulder rolls. Now, as you're rolling the shoulders down, I'm just going to move a little bit closer to you here. I want you to notice if you're getting this kind of snaking happening through the rib, if the ribs start to pop forward and back as you're doing this. And if you are, can you keep this still? And that might mean that the shoulder movement becomes smaller. And that's okay, because we're working with what's going on in your body today. We're trying to untangle the knots and untangle the tension while awakening the muscles. So if you're really tight here, these muscles at the back are going to be really weak, but they won't ever be able to get strong because they don't have the movement. So if we can create space, then if you imagine an overstretched elastic band that can't do anything, it needs to have pliability to be able to work. Can we get that movement? Nice. Then from here, I'm just going to do this side on for you. And you can, all of these things here that we're doing right now, you can do these seated. So if you're feeling tired for any reason, sit down at any point. I'm going to get you to look down to your hands without twisting your posture. So we're keeping the posture still. You're just looking down, bring the hands into view, long through the arm, reach the arm forward. Now, when you're reaching the arm forward, what I want you to not do is to rotate the upper body. Keep the upper body square, but lift the arm as though you're trying to lift the upper arm bone out the shoulder socket. Keep lifting the arm, looking towards the fingertips. Now, if you feel wobbly, hold on to something. But keep lifting and only go back as far as feels okay. So if you're lifting and you're only and you're at shoulder height, that's fine. That's where you go to and you work there. And then maybe over time, it gets a little bit higher. Eyes on the fingers as you're coming up. And then maybe over time it comes that you're looking up towards the ceiling. Now I want you just to keep thinking about length through the front of the body. Be really conscious that you're not collapsing into your lower back as you do this. So you're lifting and you're looking and you're lifting and you're coming back down. We're going to do the same thing now to the other side. So I'm just going to turn around. So think shoulders stay square, look down and follow this arm. Now the range of movement might be different on this side. So start where you are. Make sure you're not holding your breath. So here I'm inhaling as I come up and exhaling as I come down. If that breathing pattern is round the other way for you, that's absolutely fine. Can you get that lift? And can you bring it down? Just keep eyes on the fingertips. And see what range you can get to here. And then bring that down. Then we're going to bring both arms up to about shoulder height. And then take the arms out wide. Now, as I'm taking the arms out wide, I'm squeezing these upper arm bones into the shoulder socket and bringing the shoulder blades together. Imagine that I'm holding a giant gym ball. Oh, big whole weight. I'm not leaning back with it. I'm staying upright. And then I'm trying to squeeze all the air out as I bring the hands together. Link the fingers as though you're hugging a tree. Let the shoulder blades separate, but don't round the whole spine yet. Keep the rest of the spine long. Open that out. So your gym ball's inflating. And then you're squeezing it in, squeezing it in, squeezing it in. Link the fingers. Hug the tree, let the shoulder blades separate here, but stay tall through the rest of the spine. Open out. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. So as long as your ribs are not popping forward, your abdominal muscles are working here. As you're hugging your tree, you're separating the shoulder blades again. As long as your spine's not coming out of that alignment, you're going to be working your butt muscles here a little bit. Let's do that once more. Open out. So remember, you can pause this at any time and keep going with an exercise, or you can let the arms come down and have a rest at any time you like. Hug your tree, separate those shoulders, and then let that come down. Just let the arms go loose. Let's go down to the lower half of the body. We're going to do a little bit of marching on the spot. So if you feel a bit wobbly today, go near the wall, get the chair, have the chair close by. Make sure that you're doing what feels right for you. We're going to bring our arms into this movement as well. Now I want you to try and keep the hips as level as possible. So what I mean is I don't want you going over here to lift the leg up. I want you to try and stay upright as you bring the leg up in front of you. Now we're going to bring the opposite arm into this. So as the leg is lifting, arm punches up towards the ceiling. So here I'm making a fist. I'm squeezing into the biceps and pressing those knuckles up towards the ceiling and then coming down other side. So always opposite arm to leg, up and down. So if you imagine that you're trying to punch the ceiling, that's going to help the muscles of the arm and the shoulder get activated. We're keeping the hips level and staying upright, then all the lower half muscles are working. So if you do feel wobbly, maybe stop watching me and find a point of somewhere in your room that isn't moving, you can bring your focus onto. And that is going to, just having that point of focus somewhere in the horizon is really going to help with bringing that balance in. If bringing the leg up to hip height is out of the question, then maybe you come up to the toes and down, and up to the toes and down, and this might be different from day to day as well, so just whatever feels right for you. Let's do one more to each side. And bring that down. Give your body a little shake. Release things off. Next time I'm going to bring the chair in here. I'm going to use the chair as a tool for support and also to help guide the movement. So we're going to do a little bit of squatting. And a common problem when people squat is they get sore knees, because what happens often is people push their knees forward. What we want to do is to sit the hips back. Another common problem is people thrust their chest forward. We don't want that either. We want these ribs to stay tucked in to keep us long. So we're going to use the chair to give us some support and help to do this. It's not cheating, because the chair is probably going to help you get into a much deeper, much more beneficial movement. So you stand in front of your chair. I'm also going to and add on at the end of this an option to do this at the door, using the door frame, if for any reason you don't have a suitable chair. Now, if you're using the chair, the seat of it is facing you. Two reasons. One, so that you don't pull the chair over on top of yourself. If the chair's seat's facing away, it's dead easy for that to fall, so safety. But also we can use the seat as a guide to stop us from pushing our knees forward, so we can use them as a bit of a barrier. So it's a double win using the chair. I would maybe have a seat that's ideally a little bit higher than this one. I just don't own one, so my seat's a little bit low. But if you had one that was maybe at a good height, so that you don't have to lean forward as much. Leaning forward is slightly more advanced, but we'll work with what we have. Kitchen counter, that's a really good height for most people to hold on to, and also you've got the door in front of you, so that can be used as your guide. So think tall through the crown of the head, chin's tucked in, ribs are tucked in, shoulders are back and down, shoulder blades tucked into your waistband. And we're going to start to sit the hips back and then come back up. Now to start with, you might go to here, and then back up. You might feel a bit unsteady on your feet. You might need to adjust the position of your feet, and it's okay to have your toes slightly turned out here. You can have your toes pointing ahead, but it's also okay for some people to have their toes pointed slightly out. So we're noticing what's happening. If we feel unsteady, adjust the position, and then think, sit those hips back, and then come back up. And then as you start to build a little bit of muscle stimulation, the muscles start to switch on, then we can think, I can go a wee bit deeper into this. Now, what I want you to also be conscious of, I'm going to do a couple of these looking to the front, just going to seat to the side of me. What I want you to be aware of is that your knees are not dropping in here. We want to push the knees so that they're tracking over the second and third toe, or in line with the second and third toe. If you find that your knees just keep collapsing in, get a cushion. I'm using this cushion, make it thicker, putting that in as a barrier. Another thing that you can use is 20 centimetre Pilates ball, or if kids fly away football, that's really good size, and put that in between your thighs as well. So that just stops the knees from dropping in towards each other. It acts as a little bit of support. Also helps get the muscles activated in the lower legs, so get a thick cushion or a ball and use that for a little bit of support. So we're going to do another 2 of these squats if you can. Hopefully you were still doing them while I was chatting there. Last one. And then give that a little shake off. I'm going to come to the back of my chair now, because I'm not going to be sitting hips back, I'm going to be going up tall, so I want to be able to stand quite close. Shoulders are back and down, we're finding our alignment and our posture. And then we're coming up onto the balls of the feet, and then down, and then up onto the balls of the feet, and then down. So these first few, we're coming up and down, just finding our alignment. We're not swinging the body forward, we're trying to go as though somebody's pulling us up through the crown and head. That's a straight line up, straight line down. As you're coming up, I want you to think about being on the full ball of the foot. So we're not letting the heels drop out to the sides, we're trying to keep that straight line. Now, if you've got the straight line, what we can then do is, as we come down, as soon as you get a sense of the skin touching the floor, come straight back up. If you haven't got that if you haven't got that straight line yet, then keep coming all the way down just to take a wee rest at the bottom, and then come back up. So another wee thing that you could do if your heels are kind of going all over the place is using your cushion or ball in between the calf muscles, just at the lower part of the calf muscles. So that's just helping build a little bit of support there to come up and down. When we use tools like the ball or a cushion, it stimulates more muscle activation and pretty much more beneficial. So do that another 2 times. And then take a little breather. Now, we are going to take a seat for this next exercise. We're going to sit forward on the chair with our legs wide. In view. Then we're going to bring the arms to the insides of the legs and hold on to the ankles. I want you then to think about pressing the knees into the arms and the arms into the knees, almost like your knees are trying to come in close and your elbows are trying to push back out, so there's a little bit of force there. In this position, as long as your spine is long, your abdominal muscles will naturally be switched in. So just check that you're not rounded here. We want to keep the spine long. Now, that might mean you need to hold further up your leg, depending on the length of your arms and the flexibility you have at the lower back. You're going to take one hand, lift it, turn the chest out, reach up towards the ceiling, and then bring that down. arm back into the inside of the leg, reconnect that force between your arm and the leg. Other arm comes up, reaches up to the ceiling. So this is really nice for a bit of spine rotation while getting some more body muscle activation. Rotate, bring it down, reconnect the hands, the force in the leg, switch to the other side. Bring it down, force in the leg, and switch to the other side. Bring it down. Let's do that one more time to each side. And then once you've finished that last one, roll yourself up. Give the shoulders a little bit of a roll, bring your feet back in. Maybe walk them in and out a couple of times, just releasing off any tension that you've got there. And then we're going to practice standing up from the seat. I'm just going to come a bit closer again. So sit forward in your chair. Find a nice solid base through the feet. So my feet are wider than my hips. Again, I'm finding that nice strong base. And then I want you to think about pressing the feet down, squeezing the backside so that we can use this as an elevator to come up. And bring yourself up. And then bring it all the way back down into the seat. If you find that really challenging, give yourself some cushions to give some more height. I'm just going to grab a couple of cushions here. So what that does, if you give yourself some height, those cushions are too soft, too settings. Let me use yoga blocks for a bit there. They're just firmer to give me. So with the height, that's changed the angle at the back of the knee, so I'm not starting from as low down. And I can come up, and then I can come back down. I don't do this on a spinny chair, because my chair's moving behind me. Bring that up. So pressing my feet into the floor, and then coming back down. So what I'm trying to do here is not use my hands to help me up. What's really common for a lot of people is they use hands and their legs and propel themselves forward, or the arms of the chair and propel themselves forward. Now sometimes that's okay, but if we're trying to build some strength in our legs and improve our balance, we need to practice doing some things that challenge that. So taking the hands away and bringing that up and down. So start as high as you need to. When you get comfortable, then start to make that height a little bit lower. Let's take a wee stretch. So I'm going to use the chair here. Seat's facing me, so I don't pull it over. Hands going onto the back, spine long, and just edging back. Sending the tailbone back, taking a couple of nice deep breaths in and out here. And then walking that back in. And then bringing the hands together, press the palms out and lift. Just as high as feels okay. Release. And bring it round. And give the shoulders a little bit of a roll off. So repeat any of those exercises as often as you need. Do some of them less if that's what you need, some of them more if that's what you need. And if you've got any questions, please do reach out to me, jen@iamjennilson.com, or any other way that you have of getting in touch with me. Take care.